I wanted to see what would happen if I sent my pet lizard DNA into 23andMe, and so with the help of my wife, we extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results. After about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jewish. He was also 48% West Asian. This was really interesting. They also gave us a little bit of his background and his history, what he liked to eat, etc. Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
Alright, so I remember seeing this a couple of years ago. And, I thought it was kind of funny, but I thought I would wait a little bit until I got more information concerning these people. I ended up going to this campground, and the father gave me a vision of the campground leader, as a green reptilian. And, I woke up and I said, well, that can't be right. Please, 2 or 3 witnesses show me if this is true or not. So I go back to sleep, and have exactly the same thing. Dude as a reptilian, he flicked his tongue at me, and I said, all right, well, but it just seemed like he was giving messages, and a lot of what he teaches seemed to be true. This campground is a quote-unquote Hebraic or Torah-keeping campground, whatever. And so, I listen, and I try to have discernment about the messages people teach, and I just never picked that up about this guy. And so I said, but he did give me a message, and it seemed legit. But when he did give me that message, I was like, this seemed it seemed creepy. And so I fell back asleep. Y'all put me back to sleep. And this time I had a dream about him as a Barney, a big purple and green dinosaur, carrying a cardboard box out to me. So it's this dinosaur, which is really a reptile, was giving me my messages. So that was the confirmation for me that this person is a thing. It's a reptilian. And guess whose DNA he has? He is an Ashkenazi Jew. And so, I don't think this is by coincidence. I don't. Because the fact that these people are not the descendants of Israel, the fact that they are pretending to be for world domination, they have gone over into the lands of other people and have taken their lands, and justifying genocide. That's what's wild to me. They're literally justifying genocide, pretending to be another group of people. And people, for whatever reason, keep sending money to them. Now, you got the land divisions of Abraham, which are mentioned in Genesis 15:18. And that's even, if they are even being truthful about the land divisions, because they've lied about everything else. Now, I've been watching a gentleman, his channel is called Black Re-Education TV, and he is, I don't know what he is. He's from somewhere in Africa. Perhaps he's from South Africa, but he claims that the biblical Holy Land is in South Africa, and he actually has a lot of good stuff to back it up. There's the same names that are in the Bible in South Africa, among other things, but not really what this is about. It's about, are these prophecies really getting fulfilled with a group of reptilian people? No, they're not. They have one agenda, and that is to serve their father, the devil. So there is a reason why Trump is buddy-buddy with these people and saying, oh, well, we need to exalt Christianity. But the Christianity that they're going to exalt is the Christianity of this fallen system. It has nothing to do with the true lineage, the true Messiah, the true Hebraic faith at all. But what they have said in their texts is they themselves are Edom, and they have also said that the church is Edom because they really get all their doctrines and their spirit from them. So, I think that I'm about ready to stop looking at these people and start looking at Africa, because the fact of the matter is the Father said that he would redeem his people. And it seems like there's some redemption going on in Africa right now. We don't know really until it happens, or, if you're special, the Father will tell you. But yeah, a lot of people are coming to the knowledge that these people aren't it. Of course, they're not saying who is it. And in fact, it's gotten to the point where they're saying that they are it, even though they have no direct lineage with the Israelites. And then when you tell them who's it, they start accusing you of being racist and all this stuff. Look, guys, that kind of stuff is not going to fly. It's just not. You cannot accuse the apple of God's eye of being racist for telling you who they are. You know, if anything, you're going to get your feelings hurt by God himself for not even asking God the truth and then accusing his people. So, just like Revelation says, he says, I know those who call themselves Jews but aren't. So that not only goes for the Christian church, the Torah keepers, the Hebraic, Messianics, whatever, that are basically saying they're it and that the lineage doesn't count. And it also goes for those people, those Israelis that call themselves Jews but they aren't. I mean, I've seen these people. I have met them overseas, all sorts of things. I would say there was one girl, she was cool. But out of the rest of them that I met, one just, he was not even human. And I knew it. I was like, that's a demon in a bodysuit. There was another one I met when I was in, I think, Kenya. And same thing. I mean, I don't know. I get attacked a lot. So, thing is, it's time to wake up. These people aren't it. Christianity is not a quote-unquote white man's religion. It's not even a black man's religion. It is the way, the truth, and the life. Like the true Hebraic form of it. It's how you live your life to have life. Alright? And this was really for all nations. But he did say that I come for the lost sheep of Israel. Because what happens is, they go first because he recognizes the blood in them. And then they go out to the world, and whoever wants to come, comes. Okay? On Kalos, you know, there's people out here that are denying that Gentiles can enter the covenant, but on Kalos was a Roman, and this is actually where Ashkenaz descends. I don't know where the bloodline changed from normal human bloodline to reptilian. Perhaps they mix with people along the way, fallen angels and that kind of thing, and maybe it's not even all of them, but, you know, it is peculiar that it would lead back to them anyway, if it's not at least a lot of them who have taken that test. But anyways, Onkelos was a Roman. This is where they come from. They converted to Judaism, moved into Rhineland and Khazaria and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. You know, I just find it interesting that it also connected with the very people who they say are Jews. Oh, they're from Levantine. Oh, they're from West Asia. These are the Jews. And it's like, this is what it means when they say that they're lying about the DNA. It's not because the DNA tests are necessarily false. It's because who they draw people to is false. They're apparently using reptilian DNA as the marker for being a Jew. And, you know, that means anyone who has that, they've got a little bit of stuff going on with them. Alright? So what the Father is looking for is his bloodline. And he's wanting to sanctify our blood, remove all the things that are not of him so that we can reflect his image. But if you have that bloodline, you cannot do it. Like, you're defiled. So, and that's also why he had the Israelites sometimes go into places and unalive people, because they had that fallen bloodline. There is no chance of redemption. So, it's only going to take God at this point. I believe there's a reason why eyes are on South Africa right now. I believe they sent the missionaries and the Boers there to try to control that land, because they know it's the true biblical lands. You know, a lot of these things are in reservations in those areas. Who gave you the right to go into somebody else's land and just put things in reservations? Like, no one did. That's what they did. The Dutch, they're from the Netherlands and Germany and whatever, went in there and said, okay, now your land is ours. And what does the scripture say? It says Jerusalem will be built up by foreigners. So this is nothing but a fulfillment of prophecy, but then it also says the time of the Gentiles is up. It's time for you to go back home, wherever you came from, so that the Father can do what He does, and we can get the land that we were at in the first place. Now, I was doing a little more research into my DNA last night, and this is also where these tests can fall short, because there's different types of DNA. There's like mitochondrial, there's autosomal, modern populations, ancient populations, all that. So for my modern populations, yeah, I'm closely related. I think I got like 30 something percent Nigerian, and that is because I'm mostly Yoruba, which live in Nigeria. However, when I uploaded my DNA to mytrueancestry.com, it gave me Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. Why? Because my thought is because during the Spanish Inquisition, the Israelites came from Spain and settled into Kenya. They might have migrated over to Nigeria, which is why I would get markers in both places. However, my oldest markers are in South Africa. Now, the Jordan River is right there by Lesotho. It's called the Orange River. And I was looking into the CD, and they were taken from Southeast Africa. And I said, wow, they kind of have similar noses type deal. We look alike. Well, they took them from like Mozambique and Zimbabwe and basically Gazaland. That's where Gazaland is, down there in that area. And so when I was looking into my DNA, I put in my haplotype, and it said that my DNA or my haplotype is closest to, people in Zambia and Mozambique. So I do believe this is where the Israelites originate, from South Africa. But anyway, things to pray. The key word there is pray about, because we have inherited lives from our forefathers, okay? They have changed landmarks. So when you go and you look up Mount Ararat in Africa, it's not going to come up unless you put Rooiberg, Rooiberg, next to it. And so they did this on purpose to throw us off concerning, these biblical lands. And they hijacked the truth. They hijacked the faith. They hijacked the truth. No, it's no wonder Satan masquerades himself as an angel of light, and so would his people. And this is crazy too, because I remember about a year ago on TikTok, some dude was on there and he was talking about, the Danes are the Israelites. And I said, this is not by coincidence that he's saying this. First off, I don't know how you can go into somebody else's land, steal it, make racial segregation against them, even though the Bible says any stranger who's in your land, which it wasn't even their land, you're to treat them as a native born. And it also don't say go into somebody else's land and treat them like crap. So I don't even know why you would think that these people are it, other than you're a government agent, you're working for the devil. So yeah, their time's almost up. I'm looking forward to it. I have never had any problems before with wanting a group of people to be judged so badly. And I'm trying to, be reasonable about it. But I think it's about that time for Jacob, my battle axe. So, get up out their land.